Hello and welcome back to the channel. It seems ages since we've had a proper chat and actually doing what I might term proper woodwork in the workshop. But the project meant I got to spend, I think it was 4 sessions actually sanding down the panels. But we're now at that point where I can actually cut the panels to finished size. Because just going through in my mind the things that I need to do, I need to know where to cut the channels in the frames of the project so that they will accept the panels, which means I need to know exactly how big the insets are on the edges of the panels. So I need to finish size the panels first. That's why I've got the table saw. Then I can put all the panels through the router with the panel raising, and then I'll be able to cut the channels in the frames. So that's where we are. It's lovely to have all of you coming along with me. 265 subscribers now to the channel. I'm very grateful for your support, and if you've got any comments about what you see, things that you think I could do better, then I look forward to hearing from you. But in the meantime, I've got my cutting list, so I know exactly how big the panels need to be. So first things first is sort out which of these is going to be which panel. I know I've labelled them, but I just want to make sure, and that way I won't be miscutting anything. So I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Right, 4 piles of panel. This is panels 1 to 4. These are going to be the side panels of the 2 cupboards. And then this one is the door panels for cupboard number 2, and down here the door panels for cupboard number 3. Number 1 I should say. So what I'm going to do is, I know that at least one edge is going to be perfectly square, so I'm going to start all of my cuts from there. Now, just for example, this panel, that is a beautiful smooth edge. That one is a little on the rough side, and of course the 2 ends might not be square. So for this panel I'm just going to mark all of the measurements from this edge. Now this is cupboard number 2, which is 385 wide. So what I'm going to do is cut them 386 just to make sure I'm roughly in the right ballpark, and 630 long, which is almost to the end. So again, I'm going to make it 631, and those are the cut lines. Do the same sort of thing for the other panels, and then I can get them onto the table saw. And I cannot believe I've gone and done it again. This is the second door panel for cupboard number 2, and like panel number 1, it should be 630 millimeters long and 385 wide. Well, that's fine, but this one isn't. And I've just realised what I can do to get round the problem, because this at the moment is only 360, so I'm an inch, 25 millimeters, not wide enough. Grown. So what I can do, that's the edge that I'm going to be measuring everything off, because this one has a little bit of a taper here, so I'll be cutting this edge off anyway. But I've just realised I can use that bit of offcut here on panel number 7 to put onto the edge of panel number 6. So, sorry, panel number 8. And, but at least I've spotted it before things went really wrong. So, what I'll do is make sure everything is cut, measured and lined up, so I can trim off the uneven ends. That way I can do all of the cutting at one time. Then once I've trimmed that edge off, I can put it on here, glue that up, and then I'll come back to cutting it to finish size later. Okay. So 630. I don't have to be too critical on this one. So make that there. Hadn't realised how unsquare some of these are. So 630 is there. And then this is panel 5, 290. that's panels 5 and 6. Right, panels 1 to 4. And I really must sort out my measuring and things like that, because this panel, yes, there's a big imperfection there, so that's fine. I'm just going to cut that off. But the panels 1 to 4 should be 650 millimeters long. This one, crash, even with the longest piece, which is the centerpiece, even this is only 640, so it's 10 mil short. So what I can do, I'm not going to try and put a piece on the edge. I think what I might do on this one is make this, where the two cupboards meet in the middle, each one is going to have a side panel. I will make this one of those panels where they meet, so it won't be so obvious that there's a gap at the top. It's the only thing I can do. But measure twice, cut once, now that's not enough for me, is it? I'm going to have to start measuring umpteen times. Right, second panel, it's not wide enough. So as I did with the other one, I'm going to use some that I'm cutting off on this panel to stick an edge on there. But at least it's long enough, and that's the main thing. So next job, actually make some cuts, then I can glue up these two panels and leave those to dry off while I'm clearing up. Right, I've adjusted the fence so that it is going to allow me just to take the first 3 panels down, and the 4th panel, obviously I need to use some of these offcuts. But let's put some power on. Okay, So that's 3 panels cut to width. Right, the 2 panels that I've got to extend, I've selected the pieces to glue onto that, and I've made the decision to just glue them edge to edge. I'm not going to attempt to put any biscuits in there just to strengthen the joint. They're not going to take a lot of weight, and I think that should be fine. I'm going to come back to the edge glues in a little while, just after I've cut the rest of the panels to correct length. So for that, I'm going to use that gauge, and that way it will stay perfectly square. So which way am I going to be working? Let's stick that in there. Let's just make sure everything is square with the blade. Yep, that's at 90 degrees, so that's good. So which way am I going to go? I think it'll be best if I work on this side, because I can extend that better. So just move everything up slightly. Ooh. And that way I've got plenty of room, but still got that edge. So and just to make sure going from that direction it's still square. And it's a good job I checked because it is slightly out from that direction. There we go. Yep, that's got that. There we go. Deviated from the line, but that's not quite square. And I thought I'd checked that. So let's try again. we go. So that's that. Just clear up the little bit of dust that's escaped, and then I can joint those two panels. Then I'll cut those to size next week when everything's stabilised. Right, that's the next plan of action. So here I've got panel number 8 with its extension, and this edge is the one that is best because there it has actually a bevel, a slope down to this corner. But then I realised the whole panel isn't square, so what I've marked on, I don't know whether you can see it on the camera, but I've marked a line so that that side is square to that side. And what I'm going to do now is stick the whole thing in the workmate. Like that, and then I will put that roughly where the line is. Slightly proud of it, I think, but like that. I'm going to clamp it together, and then I will use the Stanley number 5 that my neighbour Tim has kindly given to me. So I'll take that down by hand, and then that will be a perfectly flush piece that I can glue together. Now I'm not quite sure how this is going to play out, because with it being quite tall and I can't get it any lower into the workbench, it might start wobbling a little, but we'll see how it goes. just ever so slightly, maybe 1/4 of a millimetre in it. Right, I'm going to leave it at that. I haven't quite got down to the line I drew, but everything is flush. And the distance to the line is quite even. So that's that one. Do the same with the second panel, then I can just stick some glue on and start matching those. Right, should be quite a quick and simple gluing process if I can get the bottle open. There we go. roughly align it. So that's in contact there. That's in contact there. There we go, that's the first one. Just a little bit of glue squeeze there. So leave that to go off until tomorrow. Let's put the second board together. So that's as far as I'm going for today. I've got the two boards gluing up, and all of the other panels are now cut to size. So next time I'll be cutting these two down and just making sure that the panels are nice and flush like I have previously. So thanks for coming along with me, and I hope the problems I've had, the snags, have given you some idea of perhaps how to avoid it yourself, or even if you have some ideas how I can avoid it in the future. I'd be happy to hear from you. So as I say, thanks for coming along with me, and I'll see you next time.